I'm not gonna lie, when I'm talking about this particular deck in this video, there is two emotions going through me right now. I feel frustrated that it's not Dark State that getting this playstyle earlier, even though it is originally based on that playstyle, or cross-right depending on the way you think about it. But at the same time, I am happy that Bushiroad found a way to find a right balance between this particular playstyle I want to see and make it very consistent. Like, they really went into a direction that I did not expect that, and I'm willing to give a huge thumbs up for Bushiroad in general with this particular deck. And you know what? It is a sweet Christmas for me this year, because today we're gonna be talking about Sweetlinker and whether it is good or not in general. And before we get into any of the unit itself, I think we have to establish the main mechanic that the deck has. I mean, every single card in this archetype did have this ability, so I think it is a little bit easier to explain it now, and that is ability Sweetlink. Sweetlink is ability that contained by all of the brand new archetypes Sweetlinker, where they're putting themselves into this Sweetlink state when you have a card with the same name in your soul. If this sounds familiar, then you would see a lot of these before with things like Crossrise, and most importantly, one of my favorite playstyle in V the Irregulars that was unfortunately being shafted hard, and that is Variant.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
For those who don't know, Variant is essentially very similar to Sweetlink in the sense that you need another copy of themselves in the soul, but in case of Variants, you need at least 2 copies for it to be useful. So during that period of time, only 2 cards were heavily played from that archetype, with one being run occasionally here and there. So I can clearly see the inspiration of this mechanic from the Variant archetype, but what I think Sweetlink does better is the way they handle this Sweetlink state they get from unlocking the condition, and the deck does do a pretty good job in fulfilling this condition for you, as you can see with a grade 1 of the right line, Sweetlinker Banamia. I'm gonna just say Sweetlinker once for the rest of the video, just because, you know, it makes my life easier. Anyway, this unit has 2 skills aside from the Sweetlink state, where when brought upon by Squira, the grade 2, look at top 7 card of your deck, choose up to 2 cards with Sweetlinker in their names, review them, choose up to one of the review card, put it into your hand, then choose up to one of the race of the review card and put it into soul and shuffle the deck. And then constant on Reka, this unit get 2k if it in a Sweetlink state. Though the second skill, as usual, is nothing too special. This card has one of my favorite right line skill that any deck can have, and that is essentially Serenata right line skill. Being able to fetch 1 and put 1 into soul is kind of an upgrade version of that, and it is understandable why it has to be better, because unlike Dark States, really call tend to struggle to superior call from soul, so this is a good thing to have. And considering some of the support that this deck has, this is really a godsend. Though the RNG aspect is there, so you might not get a specific Sweetlinker you need for that turn, so there's something wrong, being mindful about it. As let's be real, Squira does a much better job here, as this unit also has 2 skills, where when brought upon by a grade 3 Sweetlinker Vanguard, you can choose a card from your hand and you may call it to Reka Circle. If you choose to call it, you can search up to 1 card from your deck with the same name as the call unit and put it into your soul, and then shuffle the deck and draw a card. And then this unit get boost when this unit is in Sweetlink state. Nothing too crazy for the second skill again, but the first skill is essentially guaranteeing either the card that you fetch from the last turn to be able to unlock the Sweetlink state, or any of the Sweetlinker in your hand to trigger their Sweetlink state. And trust me, some of these units you want to get it earlier, especially the grade 3 of the right line, Vratti. Yeah, I don't know why they named her that way, but you know what, I'm gonna treat it as this Vratti. This unit has 2 skills, where at the start of your battle phase, you soul charge 1, this is a must, and perform one of the following based on the card that was soul charged by this ability. And if it is in Sweetlink state, your red card also get additional 5k until end of turn. If it is a trigger unit, your front row get additional 5k and this unit get a critical. But if it is a non-trigger unit, this unit get a triple drive and also additional 10k. And at the end of your turn, counterblast 1, return 6 cards with Sweetlinker in their different card name from your soul back to your deck. Choose a card from your damage zone and heal it and shuffle the deck.
Yes, I like that.
I'm not gonna lie, the more I'm seeing the way they handle this particular archetype, the more I'm seeing how they can actually design this same particular style of gameplay in actual Dark State, because damn, this is actually not a bad card at all. I mean, ability to just give 5k to entire board except for itself is pretty good already, as this is just essentially super aesthetic shot, but you know, 1 counterblast less. As much as the RNG aspect is there thanks to its units require soul charge. I think both are good in some way. Like if you get a trigger unit, the critical pressure will come in handy in the long run, and if you get a triple drive, it kind of pressure your opponent with your Vanguard with that additional drive that this deck get as well. And of course there is that free heal, and this heal doesn't care whether your opponent is at higher damage than you or not. You will always heal as long as you paid the cost. So overall I think the skill and the goal that this deck gears toward is really good. However, it is far from perfect in my opinion, purely because of that RNG aspect I mentioned earlier, because sometimes you might not want to soul charge your trigger. At a certain timing you might want to get a triple drive, at a certain timing you might want to get a critical, and you have zero control on that. And this is on top of the fact that you're forced to soul charge one, which is not good considering you might soul charge in an over trigger. And the heal skill, as much as it is really good, it is definitely harder to trigger it when you're trying to trigger it the second time, because during the first time that you chose to heal, you at least still have 3 of your right line which are different name, but afterward you don't have it. So you might struggle a little bit to trying to trigger the second heal using Ratti's skill, but overall very solid boss unit. Like it has a very solid base, and if the deck gets better from here, that's a huge plus. Especially they give enough support to actually run mostly Sweetlinker without the heavy requirement from the generics, though running Yueka or Friendship will still be helpful for the deck. And we can see that a lot of support in this deck does help you to build up the soul as well, as we can start off with Peshone, who has 2 skill, where when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put this card into your soul and then act in your soul if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Sweetlinker in its name, and this unit is in Sweetlink state. This is in soul by the way. Put this card into your drop, choose one Sweetlinker with different name from this unit, and you can put it into your soul. This card I would say is really helpful in the sense that it helps you to replace one card with a different card name from your drop, which is really helpful for Ratti heal skill. What bugs me is that not a lot of cards in this deck actually discard, so the only way for you to use its first skill efficiently is to use it for the right line. And as the time of recording, I don't remember there is a lot of cards that can help to discard in this deck that is actually beneficial for it. Next up we have Altina, where this unit also has 2 skill, where when this unit either is placed on red card circle or place 2 card circle from hand, and you can choose one Sweetlinker from your drop and put it into your soul, and then constant on red card. If this is in the Sweetlink state, it gets both power and shield plus 5k. This does active during your opponent turn as well. Nothing too crazy, I mean it's just another card that helps to put card back into soul, but I'm seeing Altina to be a much more efficient card in certain situations, as it is kind of a little bit like half gun cycler but not really. Like it does something for you but not as good as the gun cycler, but it is definitely beneficial from the deck due to the fact that you do need more Sweetlinker into soul to just either unlock the skill, unlock the state, or heal. Moving away from more technical units, we see an offensive unit with Sucre, where this unit gets additional 5k if your Vanguard is Sweetlinker, but if this is in a Sweetlink state, you get additional 5k as well. And then at the end of the battle, this unit attack a Vanguard. If you have a Sweetlinker Vanguard, at the end of that battle, you put this unit into your soul and you draw a card. I mean, not a lot of deck gets a free draw by removing itself, so the fact that this one helped to fill up the soul, fulfilling its own Sweetlink stat skill, fulfilling Ratti heal skill, and give you a little bit of hand extension is generally really nice. Though I do feel that the fact that it is locked behind grade 3 is a little annoying, because this can be used early game to draw in general. Overall, Sucre is still pretty solid, but I think the MVP of the support is definitely the last 2 cards, starting off with Palket. Palket has 2 skill, where during your turn, if this unit is in Sweetlink state, all of your other unit in the same column get additional 5k. This doesn't have a great lock, and then auto on Regard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Sweetlinker Vanguard, you can put this unit into your soul and counter charge 1.
That's a bit sassy.
You guys know how powerful Boba Mind is as a counter charger, or at least the way you counter charge with Boba Mind. This card is essentially take a step further while making it a little bit more specific to Sweetlinker, in a sense that this can give you additional 5k to any unit on the field. So if a red card can restand by itself, you get more power as well. And then this unit also counter charge, which is helpful regardless of whether the deck heavily use it or not. But based on my experience, you're gonna be using it a a lot, as the base support among the Sweetlinker at the time of recording, Lycory, does exactly that. This unit has 2 skills, where when placed on Red Guard Circle and you have a Sweetlinker Vanguard, again, doesn't need to be a grade 3, choose up to 1 card from drop, put it into your soul, and then Energy Blast 3 to look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call it to Red Guard Circle, and shuffle the deck. If your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and this unit is in Sweetling state, both core unit and this unit get additional 5k until end of turn. And then auto on Red Guard Circle, when your grade 3 or greater Sweetlinker Vanguard attacks, counter blast 1, stand this unit, and it also get plus 5k until end of turn. So yeah, this is just essentially a Yukuma shot in a way, because it used energy for something and it counter blast 1 to self restand. But in Lycory case, I do think it is quite powerful in the sense that it helps you to essentially just generate more board very early on as well, which is really good. And in the later part of the game, 5k to itself and the unit that was called by this effect is a lot more powerful than you think it is, purely due to the fact that this combining with all the plus 5k you can get from other Sweetlinker unit, it stack up to pretty much a deck that require no Persona right, which is really insane. Especially this card also enable your deck to go into 5 attack. But is Sweetling really good in practice? Well, actually yes. I mean, Sweetlinker is quite a good early game engine, as it tells you to build your board very early, and most of the Sweetlinker card can be triggered without the need of your opponent or your Vanguard to be at grade 3. Not only that, it has a lot of power stacking. Yes, it does require a very specific requirement, but the fact that you can do it quite consistently is something that I think you shouldn't ignore when it comes to what the deck can do. And don't forget, this deck had on-demand heal, which regardless of the condition is still powerful nonetheless. But this deck is far from perfect, mainly due to the fact that you're not gonna be able to use that heal that often after the first one, and if you use it, it also compromises your deck trigger ratio, which kind of affect how your drive check turn out in general. And to make things worse, this is just simply a part of the main problem of this deck, the high level of RNG that you need to actually go through. The deck does help you to reduce the strain quite a bit, but you can still encounter a lot of this if you are not lucky enough. And considering Sweetling needs another unit of itself to be installed, that RNG come into play even more so than any other deck in general. At least variants had 3 Emblem Master to kind of help you to fulfill the condition. This deck doesn't, and that's Sweetlinker. Generally, I like the way this deck is played, but considering I have way too many relical deck that I play right now, I will see whether I can get the playset for cheap or not. But what do you guys think? Are you planning to go all in on this particular archetype? Do leave down in the comments below. And by the way, if you chose to do so, I hope you have a sweet Christmas with the opening of this particular box in general. But for now, that is all I have for today. Take care of yourself, don't forget to clap that sub and become a member for some cool perks. This is Mac Meganet signing out.
Boom, boom, boom.